Tottenham have somehow spent almost £200 million this summer. Chelsea could be about to lose one of their brightest young stars, and Jürgen Klopp is finally returning to management. We have a lot to get through today, so let's not waste any more time. Hey guys, it's Liam here, and welcome back to another transfer roundup. I know it's been a little while since the last full transfer video, but the World Cup has completely taken over this channel recently, and rightly so. But while we've been watching all the football, the transfer market has gone completely crazy. Some huge deals have been completed, some massive rumours have gathered pace, and one transfer saga has finally come to an end. So, let's get straight into it. So we start today with Tottenham, unfortunately. Do we really have to? Apparently so. Now, I genuinely have one question. Where in hell are Spurs getting all this money from? Seriously. This is a club that finished 17th in the Premier League last season. They didn't qualify for Europe. Yet somehow this summer they decided this summer is the perfect time to spend money like they're playing career mode with a financial takeover or something. Because first came the Matheus Fernandes saga, where Tottenham beat Manchester United to a signature in a deal worth around £85 million. And before anyone had even finished reacting to that, Spurs went and signed Sandro Tonali from Newcastle for almost £100 million. That's nearly £200 million spent on just two midfielders. Though at the same time, I don't know why I'm judging. Chelsea basically did almost the exact same thing. Anyway, there is at least one reason why Spurs might have been able to spend so heavily. And that is because they did sell Luka Vuskovic to Brighton in a deal worth up to £50 million. Obviously, it wouldn't have been enough to fund everything, but it certainly would have helped soften the blow. And all of these arrivals seem to have created a domino effect now, as João Paulinho looks set to leave after expressing his desire to stay at the club. Personally, I think that's a shame. He actually had a decent season, despite finishing 17th with Tottenham, but he certainly had a better spell than at Bayern Munich, and I think he could have been a valuable squad player. But Roberto De Zerbi clearly does have a vision, and he's rebuilding this midfield from the ground up. And considering Tottenham have just endured back-to-back 17th-place finishes, it's hard to blame him. But the rebuild doesn't stop there either, as Radu Dragusin is now set to join Fiorentina on loan with an option to buy. So Spurs aren't just bringing players in, they're also clearing out players who don't fit the project. Whether this rebuild actually works, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But one thing is certain, Tottenham are certainly not sitting still this summer. Staying in North London now, and Arsenal have officially agreed to sell Leandro Trossard to Besiktas for around €20 million. The Belgian will complete his medical after the World Cup, with his full focus currently on the tournament, and most importantly, Belgium's match against the USA, which, as I'm recording this, is later tonight. No, I'm not watching it though, I really can't be bothered. Where was I? Oh yeah. Now, I'm not exactly devastated by this one. I've never really been a big fan of Trossard anyway, though that is kind of obvious, he does play for Arsenal. But, yeah. It does feel like a sensible deal for everyone involved to me, because I don't really think he played that much in the season just gone. I may be wrong though. Meanwhile, in West London, and one transfer that's quietly flown under the radar, is Brentford have agreed a deal to sign Jadon Anthony from Burnley for £20 million. The deal is locked and loaded. Here we go. Everything is agreed. Anthony will sign a 5-year contract with the Bees, and the final paperwork is expected to be completed in the coming days. Honestly, this feels like such a Brentford signing. It's not the biggest headline, it's definitely not the flashiest name, he's coming from a relegated team, but I think it's fair enough, because that's probably also why they've signed Callum Wilson from West Ham on a free transfer for one season. These are the kinds of deals that make you look back in 2 years' time and think, yeah, they've done it again. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see as to how they fare next season. But if you think that's been chaotic, Chelsea have somehow managed to make this transfer window even crazier. One of their biggest academy talents has already left, that being Tyreek George to Everton for £20 million, but another young star could be on his way out. And also, the Enzo Fernández saga has finally reached its conclusion. There was even one transfer rumour that genuinely caught me completely off guard. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk Chelsea. Well, I don't know what you've thought of Tottenham's transfer window so far, but if you thought that was chaotic, oh boy, you've seen nothing yet. I honestly don't think that has ever been a quiet transfer window at Stamford Bridge. So we should probably start with the biggest developing story, and that is Chelsea could be about to lose one of their brightest young midfielders. According to David Ornstein, Manchester United are now exploring a deal to sign Andrey Santos. And not long after that report broke, Newcastle United entered the race as well. Now here's what makes this story really interesting. It is understood that Santos himself is open to leaving. And honestly, can you blame him? Look at the competition. You've got Moises Caicedo, who's just signed a new contract, Enzo Fernández, Romeo Lavia, and Valentin Barco, who has now also just joined. Though odds are he'll most likely play left back. Either way, breaking into that midfield isn't exactly going to be easy. Chelsea currently value Santos at around £50 million, and reports suggest that they're prepared to sell if the right offer arrives as Xabi Alonso continues shaping his squad. Personally, I'm not really torn on this one. I like Santos as a player and I think he's really good, but from a financial point of view, Chelsea could make a healthy profit. But from a football point of view, Santos does have the potential to become a top player. Selling him now could easily become one of those transfers Chelsea might just regret in 3 or 4 years' time. So we'll just have to wait and see. While all of that has been going on, one transfer saga has finally come to an end. Real Madrid have officially made it clear they have no intention of signing Enzo Fernández, which means after weeks of speculation, the saga is now over. At least for now. I have always felt there was a little bit too much smoke around the story for there to be absolutely nothing in it, so whether there was genuine interest at some point, we'll probably never know. But as things stand, Enzo is staying at Chelsea, and personally, I am more than happy with that. He is one of Chelsea's best players, he is a leader in the dressing room, and replacing someone of his quality would have been incredibly difficult. Having said that, if he really was interested in a move back to Madrid, I do wonder what that first day back at Cobham is going to be like. Like, imagine spending your entire holiday reading headlines saying one of your teammates wants to leave, only for him to walk back into pre-season on Monday morning. That would make for some slightly awkward conversations. But Chelsea weren't finished there. One rumour genuinely caught me completely off guard, as Chelsea tried to sign Granit Xhaka. I will admit, when I first saw the report, I did have to double check that it wasn't one of those fake transfer accounts, because if there's one thing Chelsea have been known for in recent years, it is signing young players, like 18 to 25, not 33-year-olds. But when you actually think about it, it does start to make sense. The leadership, the experience, the winning mentality, he probably picked up at Leverkusen because it's not like he won anything at Arsenal. Those are all the things this Chelsea squad could definitely use, especially after some of the discipline issues we've seen over the past season. Unfortunately for Chelsea, Sunderland have made their position very clear. Xhaka isn't for sale. Multiple approaches were rejected, and that's pretty much the end of that story. It's disappointing, I will admit, because while I wasn't completely convinced at first, the more I thought about it, the more I actually liked the idea. Thankfully, Chelsea didn't leave the week empty-handed. They've completed the signing of 17-year-old centre-back Alfie Osborne from Hearts. Now, I'm willing to bet most Chelsea fans had exactly the same reaction as I did. Who is that? But no disrespect to the lad, I genuinely wish him all the best. But at first I actually thought, hopefully he can become the next Billy Gilmore. But then I realised, he's a centre-back. It's a slightly different position. So, let's try this again. Take 2. Hopefully, he develops well, and maybe breaks into the first team one day. But maybe, just maybe, he ends up having a slightly better career than Grant Hanley. But Chelsea's defensive rebuild might not stop there either, as Trevoh Chalobah remains a priority target for Inter Milan, with personal terms now understood to be at an advanced stage. Club-to-club talks are expected to follow shortly, and while Como are also interested, they are expected to walk away if Inter continue progressing with the deal. So this is a story I would definitely keep an eye on over the next few days. Chelsea are also still working on a move for Pep Chavaria as they search for another option at left back. Their opening bid was rejected, but negotiations are continuing, and another name hasn't gone away, and that is the name of Maxence Lacroix. Things have gone a little quiet recently, but Chelsea want to complete that deal once the World Cup comes to an end. The main delay is Crystal Palace are still trying to find a replacement. This situation does feel very similar to last summer's Mark Gahey saga. There was no replacement, so there was no deal with Liverpool. It was as simple as that. By the way, if you are enjoying this transfer roundup so far and you want me to keep making these throughout the summer, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are getting closer and closer to the new season, which means the transfer stories are only just going to get bigger from here. But Chelsea aren't the only club making moves. Once again, Manchester City have done what they do best. They've quietly swooped in and signed one of England's brightest academy prospects. Jeremy Monga, who is a highly rated teenage midfielder who has been tracked by multiple Premier League clubs, has chosen Man City's project over guaranteed first team opportunities elsewhere. And honestly, can you really blame him? He was playing first team minutes for Leicester and he was 15. Granted, Leicester got relegated from the Premier League that season, but still. It is a great win for Enzo Maresca's new project at Manchester City. Now, speaking of ambitious projects, Newcastle United are back in the market again, and this time it's another statement move. They've agreed a deal to sign Ivorian winger Basumana Traore from Hoffenheim. The fee is believed to be in the region of £40 to £50 million, and the player is expected to slot straight into the starting 11, as I imagine he is the direct replacement for Anthony Gordon. Now this next one I did not see coming. Nottingham Forest have parted ways with Vitor Pereira as manager, and then turned round and signed Oliver Glasner. Now I am seeing this appointment as a massive gamble, as at Nottingham Forest you either hit the ground running or you get swallowed alive, which may or may not be literal when dealing with Mr. Marinakis. But what's really interesting is why this appointment happens, as behind the scenes the club wanted a more aggressive pressing system, faster attacking transitions and a complete reset of their identity. So rather than going for a safe, experienced option, they've gone all in on potential, so we'll just have to find out very quickly if it pays off. And finally, the biggest story of the entire update. Jürgen Klopp is officially back in management. Yes, you heard that right. After stepping away from Liverpool, Klopp has returned, and this time it's a completely new challenge outside of England. After Germany's elimination from the World Cup, Julian Nagelsmann left his role as the head coach of the German national team. So, the DFB decided to appoint Jürgen Klopp as his replacement. And honestly, this feels perfect for him, because Klopp has never just been a manager. Traditionally, he has built culture, energy and belief wherever he goes. And wherever he goes, things tend to change quite quickly. The football world has been waiting to see where he would land next, and now we have our answer. Maybe he can finally return Germany back to being the international powerhouse that we're used to seeing them as. And that is going to do it for today's transfer roundup. As always, let me know down in the comments below which transfer you think is the biggest story of the week and which rumour you think is actually going to happen next. If you have enjoyed today's video, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a like. It generally helps me push through these videos and push them out to more football fans, as it lets me know that you want to keep seeing these transfer videos throughout the summer. And if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next upload. With the transfer window only just heating up, there are still plenty of huge deals still to come, and I'll be here covering all of them. So thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.